Oh, everybody's talking about the Hall of Fame again. It's nomination time. It's nomination time. Uh, the funny thing is, it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but a lot of the people in there are not really rock and roll. There's like a lot of pop acts, some hip hop acts, which some people have a problem with. And I can't help but thinking, I know this is crazy, and I know nobody's ever said this before, but what if they change the name of it to just the Music Hall of Fame? And then that people don't have to be so tight about the fact that it's not all rock and roll. That you might get a pop act in there. You might get a Mariah Carey and a Sade and a Wu-Tang Clan being nominated. So that's something to think about, Or what if somebody else opened up a Hall of Fame and called it the Music Hall of Fame, and it wasn't just, a Jan Wenner buddy club, and you just make your own thing. Somebody with a lot of money, can't you open up another building and put your favorite musicians in it? And we can have people arguing about who goes into that museum once a year. I don't really care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm sure if I was a musician, I'd be flattered to be included. But as somebody who doesn't really like much of the music that's in there, like I like some of it, of course. It's, but anybody who spent a good part of their life liking less commercial music, smaller bands that are never going to see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they might not even be able to afford to get into just paying admission to this. Some of the bands that I like, but it's just never. It doesn't interest me. I mean, it's like the Grammys. My mother was like, watching the Grammys? She goes, but you love music. I go, yes, that's why I'm not watching the Grammys, because I love music. And this doesn't seem like it's affiliated with that at all. My favorite musicians and bands, and I'm like just under like popular music. Like I don't go as deep as some people I know. I got a buddy Neil. He's always bringing up bands that I'm like, dude, you can't just throw that name around like everybody knows them. He talks so familiarly about these bands that I'm like, dude, nobody knows what band you're talking about. Maybe you run in circles where they do, but that's not me. I'm not that guy. So can you just eliminate that world of music from the conversation and meet me at like the Father John Misty's of the world? I mean, I'm trying to think of like what's the most obscure band that I like. I can't think of it right now. I'm just like, I don't know. But like, I don't know. Is Wilco ever gonna see? I like Wilco. I like Clutch a lot. I feel like maybe after they're dead, they might be like, oh, this band was really great, and they didn't get as much credit as they deserved, but they were great. Aesop Rock is my favorite music. He makes my favorite music of anybody. He never will ever see. So it's like I don't have an interest in people liking my music. I don't really care. For the bands I do. I like the bands, and I would be like, I would love it if they were more successful for them. But as far as me caring if I like the bands that everyone else likes, I don't. I gave up on that. In AOL chat rooms, I stopped debating music with people and who deserves what. And I like what I like. You can like what you like. Didn't they let Bon Jovi into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Doesn't that completely negate their credibility? Sade was nominated one year and didn't get in. And then she's up again. Like, it's not rock and roll, but she's nominated. And if you're putting, these other bands in there, I was going through the list of people who are in there, and it's actually a pretty tight list when you look at it. Like I was looking to see like who else I can criticize that's in here, and there's actually not a lot that I would be like, yeah, they don't deserve that. There's a lot of bands I don't really care about, I don't like, but like you can't argue that they belong to be there. Clive Davis is probably my biggest beef that he's in there. I got a real issue with that guy. I watched a documentary about Clive Davis, and I was like, this guy just seems like he's bad for music, the stuff that he does. And he seemed like it was more about money than he was about the art. He had an ear for he had a ear for who we could manipulate. That's a whole different thing. But anyway, he's in there, so that's not great. I feel the same way about the halftime Super Bowl show. I don't care ever. I mean, I like to be part of a conversation. I don't mind people talking about it. Even when people are talking about the nominations, I don't mind listening to it. I like people speaking passionately about opinions. That doesn't bother me. But as far as my opinion, like, I don't have an opinion. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to sit this one out because I don't care. All the people nominated, they seem like they belong to be in there. They're big names. The halftime show, I'm like, it's never going to be the band that I want. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, yeah, just put on a show. It'd be fun to talk about. I want to see if something happens during it and what special guests come out. It's just I don't have a lot of pop culture conversation points that I'm interested in. I just feel like that's one that I can at least be a part of. I can't talk about the Avengers. I don't know anything about the Avengers, so I'm sorry I'm out of that conversation, but I can talk about the halftime show. But yeah, it's never going to be, Clutch is never going to play the halftime show. It'd be sick. That'd be sick, actually. It's never going to be Better Person with just like a nice, smooth sounding halftime show. I would love a world where the music that I liked was appreciated the way I like it. That would be great. I just saw a Instagram clip of Bailey Pope. She posted about how nobody's favorite concert moments included a Jumbotron and go seeing live bands in small venues. And I couldn't agree with that more. I don't go to big concerts. Like with a band that I like, I remember it was like Kings of Leon I was a big fan of, and I saw them at some smaller clubs. And then they got to the point where they played on Long Island. They played the Nassau Coliseum out here, which stinks to begin with. But I remember being like, okay, yeah, this is cool, but God, this has nothing compared to when I saw them at whatever small club it was. It was in Philly. There's some small club I saw them last time before that. And I'm like, I think I'm done with this whole thing. I think I went to go see Roger Waters at the Garden once after that, and that was like a big spectacle and a big wall goes up, so it fits the thing. But if I like a band or an artist, and they get to the point where they start playing bigger venues, I'm like, all right, I guess I won't see them anymore unless they start really falling apart and nobody cares about them. I'll see them on the way down again. But if they're selling out theaters and arenas, they don't need my money, and I would rather spend my money on a small artist. Go see Viagra Boys for, even if it's $50. That would be a good halftime show. Viagra Boys, what do you got in mind? That'd be so much fun. They'll never be in the Hall of Fame. Again, maybe after they're dead. I don't know. Who knows? But there should be a section of the Hall of Fame. Now, I'm already buying into it. I'm like, these bands should be in the Hall of Fame. It'd be great if there was a section of the Hall of Fame, the Music Hall of Fame, the newly renamed Music Hall of Fame, that was like, these are bands that you might not know, but God, they're so good. We really love them. Maybe you should check them out. In another universe, these are the bands we're talking about. In a universe where people feel passionately about music and not just something to passively get through the day, these would be the bands that would be argued about once a year who's getting in. That being said, I mean, I have opinions about the nominees, but to me, like I said, I think every one of these artists deserve to go in there. I mean, I was most surprised at New Edition. To me, they didn't seem like they would be somebody that got nominated so quickly. I'm happy, like, I was a fan of theirs. I'm happy that they're nominated. I was like, oh, really? Wow, okay. That surprises me. Shakira seemed early for me, but that's just not my music. To me, there was a couple songs, but, I mean, that's great. Luther Vandross is the softest of all these people, but you can't deny that he deserves to be in the Music Hall of Fame. Everybody on here is like, just let them all in. What do you get? Like, oh, we can only let so many people in. Do they deserve to be there or not? Just let them in. Phil Collins isn't in yet, and that's just stupido. when you think about it. I don't know. I just feel like there's enough reasons to argue about real things, and it's fun. I understand that, but people like different things. It's just, I'm so bored of that band sucks, that band sucks. I mean, I have my opinions about bands that suck, but I'm just like, okay, you like them? I don't get it, but like, good for you. Like, I love rap music. I don't understand Kendrick Lamar. I can't, I feel like I'm not hearing the same thing everyone else is hearing, because I hear it and I'm like, I don't like his voice. I don't get it. I don't love the production. But I'm the outsider. People that I respect, they love him. So there's something I'm just not hearing, and it just doesn't register to me. But I'm happy he exists. I'm happy that people like him. I love hearing people talk about things that they're passionate about. Anything. I listen to people talk about wrestling, and I don't have any interest in it. But it's like, I just love people getting excited about something. That feels like a world I want to live in.